Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Chats with Children. I hope you're safe and well. Today, I'm delighted to join by Christina Lingham, who is the Executive Director, Conferences and Fellow at the Cambridge Healthtech Institute. And today, we're going to be talking about PEGS Europe, which is running in Lisbon for the first time in a number of years. In fact, not since 2019, if my memory serves me correctly, on November the 14th to November the 16th. So we're going to learn more about PEGS Europe, but also about PEGS and maybe even touch on some of the trends that are happening within protein engineering. So Christina, first of all, it's lovely to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you, Rizwan. It's really good to be talking with you today.
Oh, it's lovely to see you again, Christina. Now, as I said, PEGS Europe is coming up in Lisbon, starting on November the 14th. But before we talk about that specifically, for people not familiar with PEGS as a brand, perhaps you give you as a quick overview of what PEGS is as an event and what its aim and purpose is really.
Right. So PEGS Boston has been around for almost 20 years. We're going on the 20th annual year this coming year in May in Boston. PEGS Europe was spun out from that, and this year is the 15th annual. And PEGS stands for Protein and Antibody Engineering Summit. So it's a broad swath of topics within protein and antibody engineering. It's phage and yeast display. That's really the anchor of the meeting that I started 27 years ago, I believe.
Right.
And that's where the conference started. And recombinant antibodies, and there's antibodies for cancer therapy, membrane proteins, novel and emerging targets, and so on and so forth. This year, what's new at PEGS Europe is that we have a whole stream dedicated to machine learning and AI, which is really part of a growing trend and very exciting, and includes computational modeling. So we've added that machine learning. The first part of that for the week is a training seminar, an introduction to machine learning and AI, and then it's followed by 2 parts on machine learning and AI. So that's we're really excited about that. We're really excited that at PEGS Europe this year we have more attendees than ever, more sponsors, and more exhibitors. So it will be the largest event on record for us. And the plenary presentation is being given by Rebecca Crosdale Wood from AstraZeneca, and it's on benchmarking AI and machine learning. So that will be, she'll be presenting on a very interesting study that they've done there to actually quantify the benefit of using those technologies. And this year we also have a record number of posters, but the quality is also fantastic. Not just quantity, it's not just about quantity, but really the quality of programming in each of the streams. I didn't mention them all. Obviously, there's a lot in characterization and protein expression as well. So it's a pretty broad swath of protein and antibody engineering. And the difference between PEGS Europe and PEGS
I'm laughing,
Boston.
Christina, because you don't even I haven't even asked you a question in between.
And then I'm off to the races. But the protein PEGS Europe is 3/4 European attendance and European speakers, and then the rest is from the US, whereas PEGS Boston is exactly the opposite. So at PEGS Europe, we'll have mostly European speakers and mostly European and international attendees. So they're good complements to each other.
Right. Now, I'm going to let you
You
take
get
a
to ask
breath.
your question.
I'm going to let you take a breath now. So one question I'm going to ask you, though, is obviously you're heavily involved in putting the programs together for the various events. Now, obviously, protein engineering and antibodies have become to the fore over the last few years, certainly since the pandemic. So as someone who's been putting these events together, how has the program changed pre-COVID to now? And what trends have you seen in terms of people submitting papers and presentations now to what it was before?
That's a great question. I would say there's 3 areas besides the computational modeling and AI machine learning. There are 3 areas that are really heating up, and they also overlap. So I would say bispecific antibodies is a really exciting area, but also coming back very strongly this year is ADCs, the interest in ADCs, and and then, of course, CAR therapy. So one topic I didn't mention that's at this year's PEGS Europe is in vivo cell and gene engineering. So I think that's really exciting within the CAR field. So taking instead of autologous or allogeneic CARs is doing in vivo cell and gene engineering. So that we're very excited about. We're also adding a version of that to PEGS Boston. I think that's really where the future is. There have been some very exciting papers in that area. So we're following it. It's early, of course, it's very early. We're putting a stake in the ground around that topic. So
All right.
those are three areas that are really heating up, and I think we have a lot of really good programming.
Right. And also, I mean, obviously you mentioned the difference between the US event and the Europe event. It's really more about the origins of the speakers, if you like, and also the profile of the audience. But from your own experience, again, have you found when you do the Boston event, for example, there are certain topics which tend to be more, I'm trying to find the right word, which are more the audience more responsive to, compared to, say, in the Europe, they find certain topics more interesting. I mean, do you find there's a difference, or is it pretty much the same across both?
I would say there's really good synergy between both events. So, of course, I'm giving generalizations. A lot of Europeans love to go to PEGS Boston because it is, Boston is the epicenter of a lot of medical and
Sure.
technology innovation. So there, and likewise, a lot of people from the US like to go to PEGS Europe. This year, we're expecting over 1,500 attendees. And I can't really tell you that there's a difference in in what you're asking. I don't notice that certain topics or get more traction in Europe, but I would say in general I find that Europeans appreciate the academic talks more because they want to see more of the data and results, and industry of course can't share as much of the details on exactly what molecule is and how they achieve their results. So I would say that would be the biggest trend that I've noticed a difference on.
Fine.
They
Okay.
really want the science, so they appreciate the academic talks maybe a little bit more.
Great. Now, obviously, at PEGS Europe, you've got, as you already mentioned, you've got some great tracks and great speakers, and obviously great talks. And you've got a hope, you will have, because you've got more exhibitors than ever before, a vibrant exhibition floor as well, and lots of posters. Apart from the show show floor element and the talks, how else though are you getting people to engage at the event?
Sure, that's a great question. Well, we have a reception, we have a number of coffee breaks, we have lunch presentations, we have interactive breakout discussions that are led by a moderator, but they let the attendees, meet one another and discuss the topics in depth, and then they get a chance to really do a lot of the talking. So I think those have been very popular. In the poster sessions, we have more posters this year, as I said, than ever before. In the poster sessions, they get to walk up and down, meet the poster presenters, and hear more about the science. So I think those are really great formats. This year, the exhibit hall is really expanded. So I expect the attendees to really enjoy meeting with the vendors in the hall.
All right. And the final thing about the event itself, I mean, obviously, post-pandemic, most event organizers now have moved away from the digital aspect of the shows in terms of having a virtual event running alongside it. What is CHI's policy, or what are you doing digitally alongside the in-person event?
I'm glad you brought that up because PEGS is 7 concurrent streams running Tuesday through Thursday, the 14th of November till the 16th. And at the same time, we'll be capturing all of the presentations online and creating an archive. So after the event, attendees of PEGS Europe, even those that can't attend in person, but most of our attendance is in person. I would say 93 to 95% of attendees have signed up to be in person in 2 weeks. So the others, or even the attendees that are there in person, can go and watch the talks after the fact in the archives. And that's tremendous. It's really the best of both worlds. Is that you're at the conference for the networking, but anything that you missed, you can go into the archive.
Fantastic. Now, I know most people have signed up for PEGS Europe if they're going to attend, but for anybody watching this right now and is undecided, why should they sign up for PEGS Europe and be in Lisbon in 2 weeks' time?
It's the best event in Europe for protein and antibody engineering. And it's really a fun event. The energy level on site is off the charts. Rizwan, you've been there and you know, and you're in the center of it. It's really fun.
Fantastic. Well, look, Christina, it's lovely to see you. Hopefully I'll see you in person in Lisbon in a couple of weeks' time. So there you
I'm
go,
sure we
viewers.
will.
If you'd like to know more about PEGS Europe and you haven't registered yet, then click on the link above the video and you'll be able to learn more. If you have registered, then I look forward to hopefully seeing you as well in Lisbon in a couple of weeks' time. So, Christina, viewers, until next time, as always, thank you for your time. And until next time, stay well and stay
Thank
safe.
you, Rizwan.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.